Okay, Amber, thanks for being with us. I wanted to ask you to introduce yourself and tell me what you do.
My name's Amber Travsky, and I'm the martial arts instructor here at the Civic Center. I run the Laramie Kempo Karate Club and have had it here since 1985.
So what does Kempo Karate mean?
Kempo is the style. It's an Okinawan style, and it's a kind of a hand and feet. It's a nice mix. I like it because it's a style that works for almost any body type. Big guys, little guys, people like me, small, bigger guys that can kick, over their head, and other folks who maybe can't kick past their knee, So it's a very versatile style. I like that about it. The karate end of it, karate is a style, but I only put it in there because if I said the Laramie Kempo Club, a lot of folks wouldn't even know that that's a martial art. So I put karate because that's kind of a universal recognition. So that's how the name came to be.
And how did it start, and what was your own training?
I started initially in Taekwondo back when I was in high school. And back then, I should mention, it was not a woman thing. So I was the first woman in our dojo for a number of years that stayed with it anyway. And so that was back in the 70s. Eventually, I met my instructor now, his name is Stephen Blackburn. He actually lives in Virginia now. But I trained under Steve ever since I came here to go to college. And then eventually worked through the ranks. When I got to be black belt, I managed to become a grad student at University of Wyoming in exercise physiology. And I ended up then teaching the women's self-defense and the karate classes. Some of my students in the karate classes wanted more. And so I came and established the Laramie Kempo Karate Club as something for my students to have more training. And it's been going then since 1985.
So you're saying since 1985, right here in the Pacific Center, is
Yes.
that right? And what changes have you noticed in the gym? You've been here all these years.
The biggest change is heat. When you're doing something that's barefoot, you'd really notice. And the floor used to be extremely cold. We'd have to wear sparring gear just to stay warm, not to protect ourselves. And so between that, the heat was a big deal. There's a new floor. There's new windows. Replaced windows. We used to have snow come in through the windows. The ceiling has been redone. There was asbestos at that time when I started, and that's all gone now. So it's a very different place now than before, but what I like best about it is there's really no harm we can do to it. We can't put holes in the walls because they're brick, and so it's just a very suitable place for the kind of thing that we do.
And have you noticed trends in terms of popularity of martial arts within the popular culture, things like that?
Oh, certainly, and we're probably now on a little bit of a down, and then the next movie that comes out, maybe it'll go back up. I talked to the kendo guys, that's a Japanese sword fighting, and when the movie came out about, the samurais, they got a big influx. So whatever is kind of trendy. We didn't used to have a kids class, and what brought kids to the martial arts were the movies Ninja Turtles and Karate Kid. And so I can't remember when I first had kids coming into the class, and I didn't know how to teach kids. I didn't really know. I don't have kids, so it was, you have to be able to speak kid to relate to them. And so it took a process. But now we have a very viable kids class, and I've enjoyed, I kind of evolved on how to teach them and what merits they can get out of martial arts training. It's certainly different for a kid than an adult on what they can get out of the martial arts.
And so what ages are you dealing with? What's the very youngest and what's the very oldest of people who you've taught?
The youngest I take is 6. I tried younger, but they're just not ready for the structure of the class. So 6 seems to be kind of they're in school and they're used to a little bit more structure. And so that works fairly well. It's no guarantee at 6 that they're ready. Our kids class goes on up to whatever age they feel that's more suitable for them. But the adult class starts at about age 13 on up. Oldest students I've had is probably in their 60s, so kind of a wide range. We're fairly physical style, so unlike, say, Tai Chi might be one that would get an older crowd.
So for the adults, they can be complete amateurs?
Yeah, yeah, and in fact, in some ways, it works best that way, because if you come in from another style, sometimes the transition is a little bit rough. There's style differences, different things you have to learn. New people I like because they're a fresh slate, and I enjoy the new people.
All right, the last thing I want to ask you is how can people contact you? How can they find out more, and how can they sign up?
There's a link, I believe, on the Civic Center to our website. That gives a lot of the information. We take new students anytime. We do ask that the adults watch a class first, simply because it takes more effort for us. We train beginners one-on-one, kind of teach the basics, and to do that there's some time expenditure on our part, so we want to make sure it's what someone's looking for. The kids learn mostly by mimic. And so if you put a kid out on the floor with all those other kids, they pick up pretty fast. Adults are much more intellectual about it and thought process oriented. And so that's why one-on-one works best with adults. So we take new students anytime, and they can come watch a class first, or for kids, they can just come and start.
All right, well, that all sounds great. Amber, thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
You bet. Thank you.